Hey everyone, welcome back to Under the Covers. I'm
How's
not all
everybody
alone
doing?
anymore.
No, no more. We had some real technical difficulties with my computer, so I apologize to everybody about that.
Yeah, too much, too much of the pornography, or just
Y-
spilling beers on your computer or something, or
It's
what's
a
happening?
little bit of both. I mean, and we a little bit of a semen incident.
Oh God.
N- no, what I think I did, I think I closed my laptop on the little headphone jack, the male part, the one that goes into the computer. And it was weird because it was a little spider webby and giving me some stuff down in the lower right hand corner. But on laptops,
Mm.
I did find out this on a MacBook. If you break your screen, you have to replace the whole top. It's not just the screen or whatever. It's the whole thing. So don't do that. Costly mistake, folks.
Oh, well, you live and you learn.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you do. You do.
but we're back for another episode of Under the Covers, and what we do here is we pick a song and we discuss that song, and then we usually a popular song, one that's pretty well known, and then we pick a cover version of the song and we compare, contrast, and then at the end we pick our favorites independently of each other. And yeah, we're just two normal guys. Nick knows more about the technical bits of music. I just enjoy it. But yeah.
The bits, the old, the old bits, little bit twigs and bits. And you're Charlie. Did you even tell people who you are?
I didn't. I figure they know me by now, but we do get new listeners all the time. So welcome new listeners. I am Charlie, and
You are a pretty big deal. Yeah, I mean, you're like one step away from wearing an eye patch because it's cool.
I'm getting there. I just gotta get it bedazzled or something so it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? I fully expect for Halloween episode that you're gonna wear an eye patch, and I'm gonna lose my shit the whole time.
I'll be reaching for my beer and knocking shit over, 'cause grabbing my mic instead because I got no peripheral. Oh gosh, but no, my
Hit it, hit in the old gong of decision.
way too early. Oh man, speaking of the Gong of Decision, the last episode, um, this Riverside that we used to record and edit on, it released this new feature where it like kind of enhances the audio and removes background noises. And I clicked on it,
Enhance,
and it took
enhance.
it took forever to process, first of all, but then second of all, it removed the gong sound. So it was just nothing. I was like, it has been spoken. And then you see me go like this, and there's no sound whatsoever. And I'm like, yep, guess I'm not going to use that
Oh
button again.
yeah, yeah. We'll have to put in a Foley gong sound, later on. So kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
should
the
have should
slut
have
stuff.
should have
So
worked on adding that. What
so
are we
yeah.
talking about today?
So this is lucky episode number 13. Just half floor above 12 and a half. So and today you know what? I'll say this is when I think of cover songs, this is actually the first kind of cover song that comes to my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been kind of in the hopper for a while, but it's All Along the Watchtower, originally done by Mr. Robert Allen Zimmerman, also known as Bob Dylan,
Yes.
and then covered by Mr. Jimi Hendrix.
They probably pronounce it Jai in New York, like
Jimi
like they
in
do
New
with the
York.
Chai
Yeah,
Lai.
fuck Chile. You know what? I don't even care if I have listeners over there. There's only like 5 people in the town anyway. I mean, they're not,
I
they're not, they're not cutting into our Patreon so I can buy Rich Robinson's guitar.
$10,000, man. You could probably talk them down to that from that 10.5 to just straight up 10.
uh,
Um,
well,
I bet you this is a song that a lot of people, well, that many people don't realize that it's not a Jimi Hendrix song.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, Almost everybody knows it's a Jimi Hendrix song. Um, but dang, Bob Dylan, man, he put out a ton of work, and so
Hmm.
many people covered his songs.
Yeah.
So it's sort of apropos.
Bob Dylan put out a really good cover album once. He might have had some originals on there, but I think you might be familiar with it. It's his Christmas album.
Oh my gosh, stop that! Come on, I mean, I can't believe we went there that quick.
I
You know
know. I
what?
think I
This is
actually
we
had a
we
joke about it later, and I just fucking ruined it because it just popped in my head.
no. So for those that don't know, is uh, our number one biggest fan, Matt, who listens to every one of these the day it comes out, and then he reads
Thank
it,
you, Matt.
uh, the transcript, and then makes fun of us. We've got ever since this Bob Dylan Christmas time album came out. I think it's one of the worst albums ever made, and there's this "Here Comes Santa Claus," which sort of personifies and exemplifies how bad this is. And you know, I mean, I can sing it better than Bob Dylan, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. It's like, "Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus," and I'm like, dude, if Santa Claus came to me looking like sounding like that, fuck that. I'd be Jewish. I'd turn Jewish. I'd be like, no way.
Well, he is Jewish. Maybe
And
that's why I sang it that way.
that's exactly right. So so Matt and I have had this years long and maybe even a decade long thing where we try to get each other to click on the YouTube version of Here Comes Santa Claus, and like we'll text each other with, you know, like weird things in front of the link so that we don't have the preview and stuff. And he's kind of like, he's always been like, no way, not doing it. And sure enough, it's the Here Comes Santa Claus. But he does that Wonderful Christmas Time too, which that hair that he does in, is it Wonderful Christmas Time or nah? It's the other. He does another Christmas song that's all jacked up, and where it was like there's these people in this house, and he's all like, I don't know, it's all fucked up. That should be a Christmas episode. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. I'm so happy it's Christmas time. I
but if
literally
we
just
want
did
to,
it better than Bob Dylan did it.
I think you did. I think you did. Um, yeah, definitely not getting sued for that because it sounded way better.
It sounded like a bird.
But yeah, speaking of Christmas, if you want to afford presents, should we get our sponsor in before we get
Oh yes, it
get
is
too much
time
further?
for that sponsor.
All right.
Get that money.
So this week we are sponsored by Two Princes Watchtower Security System. Are you tired of trying to keep jokers and thieves away from your property? Do businessmen constantly break into your house and drink your wine? Well, have we got a solution for you? Pick up the Two Princes Watchtower Security Systems today, and your worries will be knocking on heaven's door. We all know the times they are a-changin', and you don't want to be singing the subterranean homesick blues. So don't think twice. It's all right. Just buy the Two Princes Watchtower Security System today. Two Princes Watchtower Security System. One has diamonds in his pockets. The other one wants to buy your rockets. Just go ahead now. Buy it today.
Oh my gosh. So I'm so glad we got Two Princes. What is that? What is it? Two Princes what? Security Systems. There you go.
Yes, Two Princes Security
By the way,
System.
I don't get privy to these advertisements. Charles, our Chuck's our business manager. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure when they were writing that script, Bob Dylan has what 8 million lyrics. I mean, I'm sure you could have picked it. There's a lot to pull from, isn't there?
Oh yeah, yeah. They could have pulled from lyrics, but I think there were also for some reason, you know, because of the lyrics from All Along the Watchtower and how the princes were all, in the towers watching.
Oh yeah,
I think that's probably how they got their thing, but they might also be Spin Doctors fans. And so there's
that's
just
right where I won the first thing.
two princes. So for
Because
some reason, like
that's right
they
where
they just mashed Bob Dylan and Spin Doctors into one ad, even though Spin Doctors have nothing to do with this song.
Oh, it's funny too when you said that. I was like, Wait a minute. Are we doing the right episode? Because I was like, it's 2 minutes, down, just go ahead now. That's like, literally, and I was thinking, man, did I just talk about the wrong thing for like 10 minutes?
No, somebody was just inspired in many directions during that copywriting session.
Well, luckily we
But
have Two Princes security systems to back us, and we look forward to having more of your guys' Patreon money. We're not really sure what we're going to do special for you at this point, but trust us, just keep paying us, and we'll do something special for you at some point.
should we get them the link to actually pay us first before we thank them?
Nah, I'm just going to fucking rob them. Just
Oh,
take their money.
So have you been getting the money?
Uh, no.
Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure you weren't cashing in on
All
this
right.
on the side and didn't let me know.
Yeah, feels very awkward in this podcast today. Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, All on the Watchtower.
All on the Watchtower. Do we have anything to take care of in our intro?
I mean, we talked about how our show works. We thanked our new listeners and continued support. We got the obligatory Matt reference in.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Oh yeah, we can jump right into this then. So, All on the Watchtower, 1967, off the album John Wesley Harding.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that album?
I'm not really into that album. It's a good album. But it's not one I listen to constantly or consistently. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little too, I don't know, too stripped down for me, I guess, in his catalog.
Yeah, it is pretty stripped down, but for Bob Dylan, I mean, that's kind of where he started, and then he kind of went electric and did all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is kind of a come back to the well. I don't want to say come back to the well. That sounds like a money grab, but it feels like it's kind of like going back to your roots, kind of where it all began. At least I feel that way listening to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, he did get a lot of shit for going electric, from where he came from.
Yeah.
So, and he had just gotten, he was, I think this was his first album after his motorcycle crash. Well, I should say motorcycle crash, because there's not really too much info on that. I definitely read some conspiracy theories about that one.
Yeah. There's that whole period in his life was just kind of, off the grid. It felt like, I mean, he just kind of quit touring and got his motorcycle accident. I don't know what other things did you read?
Well, one thing that I found interesting was, he was only 25 at the time, but he had released like so many albums before that. He had just constantly touring and constantly busy. So I honestly didn't realize he was so young when he got so famous and kind of became a voice of a generation. And that's a lot of pressure for a dude any age, let alone that young.
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff I was reading was, I mean, he got in some sort of accident, but there's some theories out there where it wasn't really that bad, but he just kind of wanted to just get off the grid and just kind of take a deep breath and figure stuff out.
Right.
And so,
who's
to blame him if that's what really happened? Like, perfect, do it. You needed that. He could have just burned out and been done, but instead he's still going today, making Christmas albums. That might have never happened.
Yeah, for sure. So it was during that time that he started recording with a band during the I know he did some stuff with the band before that, but he toured. That was his touring band though, right? The band.
Yes, and I think that was all after the accident that he started touring with
Yeah.
them because I think he started hanging out with them, in upstate New York at the Big Pink and everything,
Yep.
their house,
Yep.
and that's when and so maybe they started touring before then, and that's why he knew them and started and was hanging
So,
out and writing with them.
see, see, I think that's the way it was. I think
Mm-hmm.
he recorded a lot of that electric stuff with the house band and retoured with the band, and
Mm-hmm.
then got off the road because it was at this time that he started recording the basement tapes with the band, and that was music from the Big Pink as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they didn't release the basement tapes until like mid '70s or something on that line. Um, but this album, from everything that I looked at, he just like went to Nashville and was like, "Hey guys, I'll be right back," and recorded this entire album in 12 hours.
This album,
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't
yeah.
realize
John Wesley
he
Harding.
recorded it in 12 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was two stints down in Nashville, and like I said, he just kind of came back, and even on the basement tapes and all the outtakes that they had, um, none of the songs appear on it. So it was like he just went down there, recorded all the songs on this album, came back, and kept on going. So, but it's sort of a. Do you think it's a concept album? Have you? I mean, I'm not sure how to classify this album. That's the whole thing. I think it's folky and rural, but I don't know if
Yeah,
is it a concept album.
I don't know too much about the background of the album itself. So I I'm the wrong person to ask that one.
What's your uh what's your favorite Bob Dylan album?
My favorite album is probably the one I got up behind
Yeah,
me, which is Street Legal. Um, I don't know.
nice.
I don't know. I know it's not. It's probably not anybody's favorite but mine. But I don't know. This album just hits me right, like start to finish. I love it. Um,
Nice. Nice. What's your favorite
uh,
Dylan song?
uh, Gosh, that's a tough one. Yeah, come back to me. How
Come
about
back to
yourself?
me. Now I well, it's funny cuz I never really knew where this album like was cataloged at. Like I didn't know which where it came first and whatever. I thought it was earlier, but obviously it's a little later. But my favorite album is Highway 61. I like Electric Dylan,
Hmm.
and that one, you know, is kind of in the core of that. My favorite song is Hurricane for sure. Like
Oh,
that's pretty much
yeah.
far and away my favorite song.
That is a great one. I was just looking up. I think this album's from the '80s or late '70s. Late '70s, '78.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but
yeah. So yeah, so Robbie Robertson said that was who said he just kind of on a whim. You know, they were recording in upstate New York and was like, "Hey, I'm going to go to Nashville and lay down some songs." And stayed at a Ramada Inn there in Nashville, and 12 hours later, he had basically this album done. Bob Dylan later said, I would have liked more steel guitar, more piano, more music. I didn't sit down and plan that sound, so I just went with it." Which is like, I, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
guess.
if you're Bob Dylan, you can kind of do what you want, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even at that time, I mean, but yeah, I guess maybe it was he had more in his mind, but was like, well, this is the time I paid for, so I'm just gonna do what I can.
Yeah, and speaking of kind of doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. 67, the albums that were coming out in 67 were pretty complex. Psychedelia, those types of things. Sergeant Pepper, the Stones' Satanic Majesty's Request, Are You Experienced, and Axis, Bold as Love, from Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, Pink Floyd's Piper at the Gates of Dawn. But that's a year of a lot of like trippy shit going on, and to come down there and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna do a stripped down version of some sort of folk songs. I mean, it's pretty ballsy to say the least. But it was commercially successful. I mean, it was Bob Dylan, so.
Well, yeah,
But
good album. It's Bob Dylan, and also everybody was itching for new Dylan because
yeah,
it's probably been a while since he released anything. And yeah, I did find in my notes that before that crash in '66, he had released 5 albums in just a little more than 2 years. So,
jeez.
So yeah,
holy crap! 5 albums in a little bit over 2 years. That's like one every 6 months.
That's crazy.
I guess if you're shitting out albums at the rate of 12 hours, an album. I mean, I guess it leaves time for you to not only be Jewish but also figure out about what you want to do for your Christmas album.
He had that one in the works for a while.
So... yeah. This cover of this album, not the cover songs. Have you taken a look at it recently?
Actually, it's been about a week, but it looks like dude's working on a railroad. I mean,
so
not really a railroad, but it looks like just some old school dudes. Go ahead with your comments.
It's pretty fucked up when you really start looking at it. Like when you get a little deeper than just dudes on a cover. So you got Bob Dylan, which he's got this weird squinty smile on his face, which is just, it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the dude to the left and right of him, like I thought at first glance too, it was like dudes on a railroad, but these people are like dressed in Middle Eastern type garb.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really start looking at it, right? The one dude's in a straight up robe. So he's definitely not working on a railroad. The other guy's got some sort of fur cap and some sort of, trippy necklaces around him, and one of those long, I don't know. I don't know what the Middle Eastern folks wear when they have those like long body dresses things, whatever, but he's got a suit coat over it, which is okay. Okay, that's kind of weird. And then you got this photobomb guy in the back that literally looks like he should not be there. And his face looks like he shouldn't be there. I mean,
maybe they took the picture on his property. Maybe they took the picture on his property and it was like, I have to be in it.
He's like, hey, Thelma, yeah, take this damn camera here, and I'm going to get behind these guys. I guess this guy's pretty famous, I mean, who is this guy?
I don't know. I wish I would have taken a deeper look at it because I might have had to dive deep into the cover. Because he looks like a little league baseball coach or something from the 1980s.
He looks like he looks like a little league baseball coach he looks like a dad of a little league baseball grandkid where he's like standing like outside the fence, just pissed off that the umpire made the wrong call for his like 7-year-old kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one guy, does he have a pirate hat on?
I don't know what that is. I looked at that too because it looked like it kind of was like dog ears the first time I looked at it, like floppy dog ears on the right and left. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a pirate. Let's call him a pirate. I bet you. Yeah. You know what? I should Photoshop an eye patch on this guy. He'd be cool.
Yes, and his robe kind of looks velvety, so we call him the Velvet Pirate.
It does. The Velvet Pirate. So you look at this cover and you're like, okay, it's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of weird. But you know the weirdest thing? Did you hear that the Beatles are allegedly in this cover?
I did not. Like all four
So
Beatles?
you know who the Beatles are, right? You
Yeah.
know, I can see some of the Beatles. So if you turn the album upside down, so there's this big tree behind them. So right under the word Wesley or John Wesley, but you
Mm-hmm.
turn it upside down. In the very blurry areas that are at the top there, and if you do some drugs and believe in your soul that they're there, well, golly gee, they're actually there. um, but literally, you can kind of see a resemblance of them there. I kid you not.
Okay.
So you should do it
Okay.
next time,
Eh,
or look
I
it up
just
on the internet. That
yeah,
it's
I just Googled it. Everyone at home do it as well, along with us. Um, I need a higher quality picture, so I'll need
let me
more
say
time
this.
to study.
Yeah, I mean, if I was MythBusters, I'd put plausible. But the guy that took this photo said it was with a Polaroid because Dylan wanted it to look old and stuff like that. So, Photoshop wasn't rampant back then. But I can see where somebody, if they had too much time in their hands, were like, "Yep, that's the Beatles." And
Yeah.
coincidentally, on Sergeant Pepper's that came out earlier in '67,
Oh, yeah.
Bob Dylan was on that.
Sure enough
So
was.
maybe he was returning the favor. Maybe he saw the album. Maybe he saw the album, was like, I need to crank out an album. Need to put the Beatles on it to say
You
mighty,
yeah.
mate,
You're
whatever the fuck
welcome
they say.
for introducing you to drugs.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, this is a different album. I think it's over time it's been pretty influential to developing the country rock and Americana rock movement.
Mm-hmm.
Springsteen, Lucinda Williams, Jason Isbell, Ryan Adams, Dave Matthews Band. No, Dave Matthews, not the whole band. I don't know what the whole band thinks about, especially that dude that overplays the drums all the time wearing golfing gloves. They all cite this album as inspirational and part of why they do what they do. So
Nice.
I hear a lot of Neil Young Harvest and Harvest Moon in it. My opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see them very in that same vein.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Neil Young has a little better harmonica. Hot take there.
He's too bad we can't review Neil Young because he's not on Spotify. So
Oh, that son of a gun. I forgot that he's not on there.
that son of a yeah. Well, he's no slut. I mean, he definitely keeps his music where it should be. So the good thing is after this album, Dylan began to tour again. So that was good on
Mm-hmm.
the merits of this album. It went to number one, I believe. Yeah, I think it did here. Looking at it. Stand by.
Yeah, I
Close it.
didn't.
Yep, it did go to number one. So
Nice, nice, nice. Should we?
not bad for a 12-hour day work.
No, no, not at all. Should we give this classic song a listen?
It's a classic. 2 minutes and 31 seconds with 36,491,919 spins on Spotify, and
Nice.
Bob Dylan in all his stripped down glory.
Yeah, yeah. So we can't play it on the show. I feel Bob Dylan's very litigious. So we'll play a little interlude, and we will be back in just a couple minutes.
no fade outs in that song.
No fade outs at all.
Fuck that. Bob Dylan was like, no, we're gonna end this song. We're gonna end it right here. Nah, you know, for him having a quote unquote bad voice, and I know I've been making fun of it because he's 185 years old, but this song and this entire album puts his voice like front and center. I mean,
Hmm.
everything else is there to carry his voice. Um,
Yeah, and I was gonna actually
and
say that was part of my notes. Is I really like his voice on this song. Um, yeah, it sounds great.
yeah,
Um, with the drums, like the guitar, just the simple drum line through it and everything, and the guitars. I think his voice, like you said, it shines through it. It features his vocals, and I really enjoy him on this song.
the the crazy thing about this song to me, and this is just, I mean, we're talking about some hot takes here, is there's nothing in this song that should suggest it should be a good song. Hey, let's look for the chorus. Oh, guess what? Ain't no fucking chorus. Uh, chord progressions. Hey, you know what? Let's do the same three chords basically the whole time. I think there's a little bit of fourth chord, but we should do the same thing over again. We're never going to change it out. We're going to do 2 minutes, 31 seconds of the same thing. Uh, hey, drums. Hey, you know what? Don't need those toms. You're just gonna do the same beat the whole time. Hey, bass. All you need to do is do the root note over and over and over again. I mean, there's nothing to this song that should make you want to listen to it. Yeah, it's a pretty damn good song.
Yeah. Well, I think it's his lyrics, like because it's telling a story that you're just captivated by. You're just like you want to know more. You want to know what's going on.
Right. And and that's what I think makes this is where I think in what you're touching on is why I think Dylan is a genius is because it's I mean in the end this song is an allegory that allows you to like the listener to interpret those lyrics the way that they see fit. Yes, there's there's indications that this might be about a Bible verse or that some sort of thing is happening, but he leaves it open ended enough that you can get your own kind of feel out. I feel like it's a
Hmm.
more of a desert Spanish feel for whatever reason. I mean, it's 4/4 time and it's just in normal chords, but yeah, I think it's bizarrely genius to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get that desert
If
Spanish
you
feel, and I interpret it or feel like in my imagination when I'm listening to it and I'm picturing it, it's more medieval. Um,
yeah, yeah, the Joker and the Thief. I could totally see that. I think of Aladdin for some reason. I think of Aladdin. I don't know why. From forever I've thought about gotta be one head. I got these whatever. Fucking I was getting laid, whatever. Which by the way, I still hear that lyric the wrong way on the Jimi Hendrix version, by the way.
yeah.
So we'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
So yeah. I mean, it's a
Um,
good
it,
song.
it, it is, and the other note I have about it is, and like to your point, there's no verse, chorus, verse, normal strong song structure to it. Where it's only 2.5 minutes long or whatever it was, 2:40, but it almost feels longer than it is. But it's not. That's not in a
Exactly.
bad way. Like it feels like this is a 5 minute song, but it's half that time.
Well, it's funny you said that because we're listeners. I've listened to this 50 times since we were doing this. And I was like, oh man, maybe I have enough time to run to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I only got like a minute left, and I'm already like 3/4 of the way through this song. I'm like, well, no way I can jet it out that quickly. So,
Yeah, but no,
but
that's my only
the no, go ahead.
my only real fault to this recording, or not even a fault, but just a negative to me in my ears is actually a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
harmonica in the song is a little harsh for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, and I can't play the harmonica, so I'm not judging it. It's just some of the higher pitch he hits on some of the harmonica. It just kind of grates me a little.
Yeah. I can see that. Um, yeah. I still just think it's pretty amazing how in the back the music is, and I mean, you almost don't hear the drums and bass. And you know what? Even with this, I'd go so far as the guitar. You're gonna come out of that remembering his voice and harmonica.
Hmm.
I which makes me wonder, and I'm kind of transitioning here. So forewarned, there's a transition coming up. Is that some fan in 1967 was around Jimi Hendrix and gave him this album, and Jimi Hendrix was like, "Damn, dude, I'm gonna do that song." I wonder what goes through. I mean, again, I don't think it's too too much of a stretch to say from one genius, which is Bob Dylan, to another genius, which is Jimi Hendrix, to say out of the 12 songs or whatever many were on that album, to say, I think I want to remake that song.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to be a musical genius to I mean to take that song and do what did with it. Like to even have the ambition to say, yes, I, Jimi Hendrix, who's going to melt your face off, can take this song and make it a face melter. And yeah, so you got to
Oh
wonder
yeah,
how that all came about.
yeah. So in 1968, um, Jimi Hendrix released Electric Ladyland, which was his third album, and it was a double album, big deal. But it was the first album that the record company basically gave Jimi Hendrix the complete freedom to just do what he wants to do in the studio. So, you know, it was obviously his first two albums were amazing. Um, it's awesome that a fan put this song into his head, and then he ended up blessing us with what comes out of it. So
Hmm. Yeah, this is kind of a Beatles Joe Cocker situation where it's like a year later somebody does the cover of a very
yeah,
popular song.
yeah. Now word is, and again, I read a lot about this about why he chose it, but the one of the main reasons he chose this song was because the lyrics were mysterious yet resonant. And I think resonant is a pretty good word here, because where I think Bob Dylan's version of this song, it it feels to me like he's recalling the past, like this thing
Hmm.
happened in medieval times, or when Aladdin was out there running around stealing bread. Um, I feel like Jimi Hendrix turned it into a rebellious song, which is watch out for the powers that be,
Yeah.
and if you don't watch out, they're gonna fuck you up. And I feel that way. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you completely there, especially with the way he delivers a lot of the lines, and there's some emphasis on the the plowmen dig my earth, the businessmen drink my wine. Yeah, it's more of a, yeah, keep your head on a swivel.
And
The
it's
man
cool
will come
because
after you.
yeah, yeah, and it's cool because when he when he says when he says those lines, he uses his guitar to put emphasis on the things you should be like really there. So, businessmen, they drink my wine, and it's like that's like your exclamation point, or the thing like you didn't listen to that last thing. Just realize this lightning strike here I just did here, pushes it. And yeah, I think it's he was a perfectionist. Now I know he recorded this song in just a few takes, at least the basic tracks of this.
Hmm.
But he demanded a lot of takes of all his songs to make sure that what he was saying and doing, especially on this album, was exactly right. Um, so
Yeah,
and I
I
think
read that he
an album,
he re-recorded the bass on this song after it was done. Well, his original bass player
yeah,
for his band, Noel Redding, walked out on the sessions because he didn't like how it was going, which
yeah,
you got to think he regrets that. Um, even though I think I read a quote that said he doesn't really care for this song. I think it's just him feeling pretty butthurt that he walked out on it. Um,
yeah. Well, and part of that too was a lot of the recording this album was more like a party than it was a real session. There were a
hmm
lot of hanger oners there. Dave Mason, Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones was there.
hmm
Lots of different people. Um, so even Chaz Chandler was pissed by all these things going on. He was the producer. I'm not sure if I said that already, but um, I can look. I mean, the guy has a ton of success in just a short period of time, basically a year, and then suddenly gets the keys to his kingdom. It's yeah, I could see some people getting a little pissed.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned Brian Jones. He plays that dry rattle sound in this on the vibra slap.
it, I think Vibraslap is what you do nightly, isn't it?
Yes, yes. That that could be an ad one day. The vibra slap.
So, for folks that don't know what a Vibraslap is, if you ever listen to the beginning of Sweet Emotion, there's this little thing, and then obviously it's in this song quite a bit. So that is actually a Vibraslap. It's like a cowbell connected to a ball, and you hit it, and it goes. And
It
so,
vibrates and it
but yeah,
slaps. It
no,
does what it says.
the name it vibrates and it slaps. Uh, I that name of a musical instrument didn't age well, did it?
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, because now you say like this that song slaps. It was before its time.
That's I guess you know that young kid language, that Fortnite language. I don't know that as well as you, so I didn't know
Yeah.
song slapping was meant good.
It might not be, but I say it.
So at the time, when this album was finished, this was the most expensive album of all time to make because of the studio time and the equipment made. But when it's all said and done, again, I got hot takes all around here. I think it's this. I think it's this sort of studio work and this vision that Jimi Hendrix had that made him a genius. It's not what people would think about, like being on stage with just a loud guitar. I think he did awesome stuff, don't get me wrong, but the sounds and the craftsmanship and everything that he did there was, a huge inspiration. Well, not a huge inspiration, but it to me was the things that made him who he was as a guitarist and the greatest guitarist of all time, uh,
hmm
unequivocally.
Yeah, and didn't he didn't read music too, right? Like he was self-taught and he didn't like read music notes and everything. Like he just played it by feel and sound. And like obviously he didn't
Yeah,
learn notes and chords, but he didn't actually read music or something. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that before.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it did. Well, remember how like I think it was Tori Amos and somebody else we talked about, like when they would
Oh, how they
see music as
see,
colors and
yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That he had that. He talked
Okay.
about to his producers, Chas Chandler. There's a lot on this about him saying, "I want this to be a blues sound," and that's not blues. That's some other thing. And I think 1983 or Merman I Should Be, that was a blue song that has in his mind that looked blue, whatever that meant. Um,
Okay.
so it was, but yeah, he didn't really read music and say, oh, he knew chords, but wasn't like, oh, I'm going to write this chart out. So,
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that? Just last month in February, um, Jimi Hendrix music landed on the moon.
what?
Yeah. So I guess they sent this spaceship up to land on the moon and like bring data back to Earth, but they also put a time capsule on it that supposedly will last for like 50 million years in space or something stupid.
Hmm.
Um, and or, well, cool, but crazy. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, was wrong. Not 50 million, a billion year time capsule landed on the moon. Contains an unheard Jimi
A
Hendrix
billion
song.
years.
A billion years. But there's a bunch of other music on there too. 50,000 songs. Some by Elvis Presley, The Who, Marvin Gaye, Santana, Chuck Berry, Sly and the Family Stone, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I thought that was kind of
Wow.
interesting because it was just some recent news that Jimi Hendrix is now on the moon for a billion years.
So did they just put an iPod up there? Is that what they did? I mean,
But probably it was
basically.
funded by that guy Elon Musk. Oh, they also put the
Ah.
cover artwork from Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon on there. So yeah, I
Hmm.
guess hopefully they hope one day aliens will come and enjoy our Earth things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny too. Not I mean to go off that you said the cover of Dark Side of the Moon, but the cover of this album originally was not Jimi Hendrix just lit up in oranges and reds at I think it was Monterey, but I could be way off on that. It was a bunch of nude women and it was hot. Um, front and back was just not front and the back of the women. I mean, you weren't seeing like bush or anything, but a lot of boobies.
Yeah, it was that Electric Ladyland.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, this album, I remember seeing. My dad had it around forever. My dad was a huge music fan, and when I started getting into painting, this little this painting here was my painting. I painted that, and it was inspired by this because I liked that red orange, and I had to do this warm, cool color thing for a school project, and that I think I painted that in like eighth grade, so seventh or eighth grade, and
Nice.
so yeah, that's what that is. I don't know if anybody even ever knows that. My dad hated that photo or that painting because the eye was looked like a glass eye, and he was mad at me for not mad at me. He always was like, "You should probably change that," and I'm like, "No, that's the way I painted it, bitch." So I'm keeping it. So, but there were a lot of overdubs on this song. Um, and there's another version of this song on the album South Saturn Delta, which doesn't have all the overdubs. So you can hear basically how they recorded it more or less live in the studio. I think what he did is played his solos, and on that album is another song called Drifter's Escape, which is another Dylan song off of John Wesley Harding. So actually, Jimi Hendrix was going to record a different song. I forgot what song it is. The producer said, Chad Chandler said, "Why don't you do All on the Watchtower?" He's like, I dig that song too. Did it. And he also recorded Drifter's Escape. So there's a
Nice.
couple songs. He obviously was really dug the album.
Mm-hmm.
He probably thought he could tear it up because really John Wesley Harding is, it sounds like to me song sketches when, and if you're going to turn Along the Watchtower from what it was into this, probably could do a couple songs on that album. So should we give her a listen?
Yeah, yeah. Let's give it a listen, and we can talk a bit more about it.
So this song comes in at a solid 4 minutes and 1 second long. So it's quite a bit longer than the original. And on Spotify, it has 682,122,900 ish plays. So if you guys remember, Bob Dylan had 36 million, and this one's got 682 million. As one of the
Wow.
greatest rock songs of all time, it's going to have a lot of plays. So with that, we're go to the beautiful dancing Charlie in the interlude, and we'll be back in 4 minutes and 1 second.
Yes, we will.
Not stripped down.
No. No, that was pretty full all the way throughout.
Lots going on there. That was fucking great.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, it starts out in your face and it ends in your face. I love
Yeah.
listening to it in headphones as well, and just cranking it up and listening to it and hearing all the little improvs Jimmy's got throughout the song, especially towards the end there when he's just kind of jamming out. Yeah, it's just fun.
You're exactly right. I think that soul or whatever he had, I mean, he interjects that all throughout the song. And the most obvious one that I can think of or point to is when he says, rather than outside in the distance, it's outside in the cold distance, to add more visual and contextual feel to the song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. It's all the way through. I mean, there's little spots, little nuances that he does all the time. And the weird thing is too is that he or they, I mean, obviously it was a man. It's the same chord structure. There's no difference in the chord structure. But remember, we were talking about all those things that Bob Dylan didn't do. He interjected the things that would make it have appeal. So it has
Mm-hmm.
a hook with his guitar solos. It has this soul delivery. There's ask and answer. There's blues, solos between the verses. He dressed it up. It was almost like he used Bob Dylan's version as a demo for just the basic structure and said, "All right, this is how I take a song to the next level." And I don't know if that's what happened, but it's what I feel.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And then the last note in the song, the guitar solo. He, great guitar solos all the way through. I mean, every single lick and hook is amazing, but that last part where you just hear that high note that, all the way to the very end until it fades out. I know he fades out here. That's amazing. And the reason it's amazing is it's the highest note you can actually hit on a strat. So I think it's the 24th fret, or no, excuse me, 23rd fret, I think. So it's the highest note you can actually hit there, which is big deal. And the reason it's a big deal is I'm right-handed. So when you play a strat, you have a big cutout to where your hand can go into that upper register. Well, Jimi Hendrix was not right-handed. He played a right-handed guitar upside down, strung it the right way, but played it upside down. So that side of the guitar was actually out further than to hit that higher register. So to do that, he didn't have that benefit. So he had to stretch his fingers and his hand way over to actually even just hit that note. Now, this is obviously in a studio, so he gets the luxury of time. But what that shows is that Jimi Hendrix's hands were gigantic. And so he was like 5'10", from my understanding, he was about 5'10". And his wingspan from his pinky all the way to his thumb was 10 3/4 inch. I'm a pretty big guy with pretty big meat bangers, and my hand, let's see here if I can do this, like I'm going to the combine, is basically 9.5 inches, same distance. So over an inch bigger than my hand. So
nice.
Just shows what a freak of nature he was.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what they say.
You have to have God-given talents. Yeah, I'm sure.
No,
this is going to go to a point where my mom can't listen to this episode if we keep going on that one.
No, so. I stopped there. I'll let your imaginations take it the rest of the way. But there was mention earlier. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You want to mention something earlier.
No, I was just saying there was mention earlier of some misheard lyrics in this song. And let us not talk falsely now.
So yeah, so I've for years, and I'm talking until like maybe 5 to 8 years ago, I thought the lyric was, so let us not talk falsely now, because I was getting laid. Yeah. Hey. And I dig it. I like my rewrite.
I always remember that story, and so I planned a little surprise for you tonight. Got a little game show for you. It's called Lost in Translation. Name that tune.
Oh shit! I'm gonna lose this.
I don't know. I tried to make it pretty easy because there are some pretty fucked up misheard lyrics out there that don't make sense to me. But yeah, I got a list here, and I'm gonna give you the misheard lyric, and you got to tell me the artist and the song. So we'll start out here. I'll never leave your pizza burning.
Never leave your pizza burning. Oh shit! Is this fuck? Is this Beds Are Burning by what the fuck is those guys from Australia?
Here you go. I'll never leave your pizza burning.
Beast of Burden. Yes.
Okay.
By the Rolling Stones.
So apparently that's a misheard lyric. Here's another one.
Yes.
I'm a lion, I'm a vinyl, I'm a skittle, I'm a beetle.
Uh, I'm a Joker smoker, Midnight Joker. Is it that one?
Nope, it's actually from a song we covered, In Bloom by Nirvana. A mulatto, an albino, a
Oh
mosquito, my
shit.
libido.
Oh
Here's here's
yes.
here's one you'll
I'm
get for
horrible at this.
sure. Here's one you get for sure. Hold me
Oh my gosh.
closer,
I'm probably not, but
hold me closer, Tony Danza.
hold me close, so time to dance. Tiny Dancer. There we
There you
go.
go. There you go. There you
Elton
go.
John.
Here we go. There's a
I could see
bath
that one. I could see that one being Tony Dancer.
there's a bathroom on the right.
Oh, this is CCR, Bad Moon Rising for sure.
Yes. Yes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Might as well face it. You're a dick with a glove.
This is Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love.
Yes,
Might
yes,
as
yes.
well face it, you're a dick with a glove. Rah. I
Ah,
just made it into 80s hair band metal, but I'm not sure what's up with that.
um, got got two more for you. This one's easy too.
All right.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Excuse me while I kiss the sky. That's Purple Haze, right?
Yeah, yeah. By our cover artist here, Jimi
By Mr.
Hendrix.
Hendrix himself.
And then your bonus question: if you get wrong, um, I'll I won't forgive you. Potato wave.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love this. Yellow Lead Better by Pearl Jam.
Uh,
Potato Wave. If you guys have not looked up misheard lyrics for Yellow Lead Better by Pearl Jam, it's this animated thing. And our best friend, or our best fan, biggest fan, Matt, turned me on to this, but it's hilarious. I still to this day, most of the time I hear that song on the radio, I just will text him Potato Wave randomly, just randomly Potato Wave, and
yeah.
he
When I
doesn't
was
even answer back at this point. He's probably like, "Fuck, I wish I'd never said his name."
when I was looking up misheard lyrics, that wasn't even on there, but I had to add it because and then I think I watched the video like twice. It's like full of like weird. It's old clip art, just real cheesy looking, but it's
Oh
so
yeah,
great.
it is. And the funny thing is that entire song is misheard lyrics. I
Yeah,
mean, he
yeah.
just mumbles random stuff.
It's
Mickey
not just
fries. Ah, I
yes.
love it. I love it.
Google misheard lyrics. Yellow Lead Better by Pearl Jam. It's worth it. Um. So yeah,
Which
that
is
was
a hell of a song. How did that
yeah.
never make it to an album? I just don't know. I mean, between that and Hey Hey, What Can I Do?
Yeah.
So are we ready to put a little bow on this?
Yeah, I think we're a little over an hour here, so I think it might be a good stopping point unless you had any other points you wanted to
No,
talk.
I got no other fun facts. So I think I'm ready. Who's up first today?
Okay. I can't remember. It's been a while since we recorded. So we did what was the last song we
Well, you
did?
go ahead, man.
All right, I'll go first.
I don't
Um
know.
so yeah, this song All Along the Watchtower. Amazing song, amazing lyrics. To Nick's point, it shouldn't really work as a song, like in the sense that it's not a real structure. It shouldn't work as a hit song because of the structure to it. But brilliant song, love the song. Bob Dylan's a genius for all the work he's done for his long illustrious career, and I think he laid the pathway for Jimi Hendrix to take this song and just crank it to 11. And so my vote is for Jimmy. And the gong of decision has
I
been
can't get
rung.
enough of the gong of decision. Um, yeah, I mean, my vote for 2/3 of my life, I wouldn't even have given Dylan a chance here. Um, but maybe I'm getting soft. I don't know. Maybe I'm just changing. These times are changing. Um, I dig the laid back feel of Dylan, and overall, I'm generally more into country than I had been as a guy that painted this photo over here or anything like that. But damn, Hendrix, that's a jam. It's regarded as one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. It's regarded as one of
Hmm.
the best solos of all time. I've said for, lots of these episodes that I'm a guitar hard rock kind of guy, and Hendrix, it's all the way. He used Dylan's as a demo and fucking nailed it. So Hendrix all the way.
Nice. Well, there you have it, folks.
Nice.
Yeah, the opinion of two musical non-geniuses.
Genii. Genii.
Let us know what you think.
Genii. That
What's your
sounds like a
favorite version? Did you know this
yeah.
was a cover song? Did you think it was a Jimmy song? Do you hate this song? We won't judge you.
Did you think it? Do you think it was? Do you think it was sung originally by Robert Zimmerman? Hmm.
Yes. Do you refer? Are you very familiar or not familiar? What's the opposite of? You're very formal, like Nick, and just call him Robert Zimmerman all the time, like David Grohl.
David Grohl. David Grohl. David Grohl. David Grohl. Robert Zimmerman.
But we
All
we
right. Let
never,
us know in the comments.
yeah, and we never really got to say it, but Jimi Hendrix, rest in peace.
Yeah, yeah. Wah, wah, wah. I love it that you have that. Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Well,
thank
we'll
you.
see you next time, folks.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Love y'all.